What's up everybody, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video we have the keys to the all-new 2020 Toyota Supra. Huge shout out to Flo Toyota of Statesville. They're providing this car for today's video. I'll have the link to their website down in the description below. Definitely check them out. They have a Supra in stock, so that is definitely pretty awesome. But definitely check out their website. So today we're going to take a full look at the all-new Supra, so let's hurry up and get into it. And the model that we're looking at today is the GR Launch Edition. It's finished off in Renaissance Red and has an MSRP at just over $58,000. Underneath the hood, this features a 3-liter inline 6-cylinder turbocharged engine. It produces 335 horsepower and 365 pound-feet of torque. The engine is paired to an 8-speed automatic transmission, sending the power to the rear wheels through an active rear differential. And with a curb weight just under 3,400 pounds, you can expect to get 0 to 60 in 3.8 seconds and 0 to 100 in 9.5 seconds. The top speed is electronically controlled at 155 miles an hour. We get a quarter-mile time at 12.3 seconds at 113 miles an hour. And running on a 13.7 gallon fuel tank, you can expect to get 24 miles per gallon in the city and 31 out on the highway. The overall length comes in at 172.5 inches with a wheelbase at 97.2. The width is 73 inches and the height is 50.9. This features ventilated disc brakes in all 4 corners with Brembo 4-piston brake calipers up front. The front rotors measure in at 13.7 inches while the rears measure in at 13.6 inches. And that all helps this vehicle stop from 70 to 0 in just 148 feet. The front end features 6-lens LED auto-leveling headlights with 3 low beams and 3 high beams. We get LED daytime running lights as well, and the headlights even cut towards the center of the front bumper, help giving this an aggressive look. The front end has very sleek lines and rounded edges to it. We have a large opening in the center as well as both sides of the front bumper to allow maximum cooling to the radiators as well as the front mounted intercooler. There's an aggressive matte black lower front splitter and 6 parking sensors up front. The front end definitely has some unique shapes to it with the body color red flowing its way throughout. There's many contours protruding forward just to help give this car an aggressive look, and then it all flows very nicely, having that front splitter go all the way to the sides of the front bumper, just giving it a wide appearance. The front bumper also flows very nicely to the hood. You can also notice that the hood goes all the way from one tire to the other. It really covers the entire front end of the car. There's a sharp body line on each side of the hood as well as a trim piece behind that. And then making our way to the side profile of the car, the Launch Edition cars have solid black 19-inch wheels in all 4 corners, wrapped in Michelin tires. You can see more sleek body lines around the front fender, another matte black trim piece for the side skirt, and then a really cool trim piece on the side of the door. The Supra has LED turn signals within the side mirrors, and all the Launch Edition cars will have red mirror caps. There's a gloss black A-pillar to help give this car even more aggression, and then as we make our way to the top of the roof, this has a double bubble design which has a really good contour to it. You can see how much lower it is in the center of the roof, and then it bulges higher on each side. And then the overall side profile of the car is very stubby and proportional looking, has great lines all around the side, just flows very nicely all the way from the front to the rear end. And then finishing up with the rear end of the car, there's even more contours all throughout. We get a matte black lower diffuser with 6 parking sensors in the rear bumper. The LED taillights have a great look to them as well, flowing very nicely with the rear end of the car. We get the GR badge down below, as well as Toyota and Supra in the center. We even have the reverse light in the center of the diffuser, acting like the rain lights in certain race cars. And the overall rear end definitely has a lot of cool lines to it, very nice contours all throughout, really giving this a unique appearance. So there's a good look at the exterior of the all-new 2020 Supra, as well as some of the performance specifications. The exterior is amazing. It does not look the same on pictures and videos as it does in person. When you're looking at it in person, there are so many beautiful lines to it. The car is really sculpted like nothing else out on the roads. This is probably one of my favorite angles of the car. Just the way the fenders are bulging, the taillights, how they stick out on top and are just cut in, fitting really nicely within the bumper. The rear diffuser is super aggressive looking as well. A lot of lines and shapes going on for the rear. And then I really like how these spoilers all integrated within the trunk lid. It just flows very nicely. And then coming our way back to the front of the car, the headlights have a fantastic look, really aggressive all around. But I really can't say enough good things about the exterior. I think Toyota nailed it with the design. So with that said, we now have the key fob. We're gonna take a full look at the interior. It even has a red stripe around it, which is a nice touch. So just keeping the car locked, all I gotta do is go up to the door handle, and when I go ahead and grab it, the car automatically unlocks and we can check out the inside. The red Launch Edition cars are going to feature a black leather interior. If you opt for the white or the black exterior, then you'll get the option of the red leather interior. To take a look at the door panel, we get black leather along the armrests as well as some silver stitching. There's metallic black trim as well as all of your window and mirror controls. An aluminum release handle for the door, finished off in a nice hexagonal shape. All your lock and unlock controls. And then part of the JBL audio system, we have 2 speakers on the door panel, your trunk release button, as well as a little bit of storage space. Moving our way inside, we have an aluminum door sill with Toyota Supra, and the Supra font is just like the 90s Supra, which is nice to see. This features 14-way powered and memory seats, all finished off with black leather and white stitching. There's aluminum trim on the top of the seat, just giving it a sporty look, and it's all single piece in the back just to give it a more aggressive appearance. Nice side bolsters to them, and we have a nice stitching design in the center with a really cool leather pattern to it. If we do look at the controls, we even do have side bolstering controls. You can press this button right here to actually control how tight you'd like the bolsters to squeeze you. And then moving our way inside the car, we get a black leather steering wheel with more of the silver stitching. So then sitting inside the car, keeping my foot on the brake, we can go ahead and start it up. On the steering wheel, we have all the cruise control settings over on the left side. This does feature radar cruise control, which is a great touch. And then over on the right side, we have a lot of the Bluetooth and audio controls. And when you do hit the mode button, that'll change the different radio stations. And with the colored heads-up display system, all that information will even come up on the screen. We even have the speed as well as the speed limit sign on the heads-up display as well. This car also features steering wheel mounted paddle shifters. They have a really nice feel to them, and they're finished off in silver. Over on the left side of the steering wheel, we have all of your headlight controls, as well as the dimmer switch for the interior gauges. We have one of the air vents on the left side with some silver trim, more of the silver stitching, as well as a black leather design to it along the dash. You can see the actual unit for the heads-up display system. All black leather dash, part of the JBL audio system is in the top as well. And since this car features the upgraded audio system, it features a 12-speaker JBL system with 500 watts. And then moving to the 8.8-inch screen in the center, we can actually control it using the dial pad down here. We have some shortcut keys all around it, your menu button in the top, and then some different ones on the left and the right. But just hitting the menu button, you can see everything pop up. We can scroll through vehicle information, notifications, we have weather, your navigation, media, and radio. And then going into the navigation screen, you can get a good look at how the map looks, really good graphics and really good resolution all around. Going back into the menu button, if you scroll over into my vehicle, we can see more settings within the car and change a lot of the various settings with it. We can check on the vehicle status, the tire pressure, and tire temperatures. And then to go ahead and put the car into reverse with my foot on the brake and the unlock button, we just push this all the way forward. The rear view backup camera comes up along with all the parking sensors over on the left side. And as I change the steering wheel, you can see all the guidelines changing as well. And then to go ahead and put the car into park, just tap the park button. We have all the radio controls in the center here with your volume as well as the on-off, all the different presets. The climate controls down below that. This car does feature heated seats. We have dual zone climate control, all the buttons right in the center, your fan speed as well as turning it all the way off. The different zones you can adjust right here. We have a little bit of storage down below as well as a wireless phone charger. The center console is finished off with beautiful carbon fiber, just has a really sporty look to it. We even get a driver focused cockpit having this piece right here. You really do feel like the car is angled towards the driver, which is a really nice touch. It's kind of floating over in this portion. And beneath the shifter, we have the electronic park and brake, your safety system. You can turn this on and off. And when you do that, it comes up on the screen as well. With it all on, you can see what it has. This has pedestrian detection. You can scroll all the way down to customize a few of the settings. We have front collision warning, lane departure, blind spot monitoring, and you can adjust how intense everything is. So this car actually does have a ton of standard safety features. We also have the sport mode button right here, as well as the engine start stop feature, and then back to the rotary dial to command all the infotainment. We have the center console right here, which is just a nice armrest. We have two cup holders in it. We have a little bit of storage behind that as well. You can fit a wallet or something in there. And then taking a look at the glove box, opening this up, we have a pretty normal amount of space for some owner's manuals and items like that. Being a launch edition, this also does have a numbered badge. This number is 1399 to 1500. We have a signature over on the right side, and then you can see the carbon fiber finish as well as the GR Supra badge. And then just to take a really good look at the overall interior, it's really clean looking overall. The black seats have a nice look to them with the silver stitching. The contours within the leather has a sporty appearance to it. Everything fits together very nicely, has a really good look to it. I definitely like all the carbon fiber. Steering wheel has a good look. All the gauges look really nice. Overall visibility, you can get a really good look at it. So now we'll go ahead and take a look at the trunk space. Opening up the door, we'll go ahead and pop the trunk. We also have a button on the key fob to open up the trunk. You can see it's popped now, so we can go ahead and lift this up. This cover opens up as well to allow a little bit better access. The trunk is actually very roomy. You can see how much space we have in here, and it does cut out over on the left and right side as well. We have a super carpeted floor mat. And then you can also see the two other speakers in the back here, even with a dip in the center for larger items to fit in here. And then with that cover off, you can get a really good look at the overall opening for the car. It's a little bit narrower in the lower portion right here. It widens up towards the top, but in all honesty, for what this car is, this is definitely a lot of space to it. And then to finish it up, there's two handles in the top, and we can go ahead and close up the trunk. Alright, so now in the 2020 Supra, to get this thing out on the road to see what it's like to drive the car. Already just driving it in the parking lot after we first started up, everything starts up in the normal automatic comfort mode. Everything is as conservative as it gets. Engine just stopped. The safety system is on. This is just conservative, bare bones car. This engine starts right up as I take my foot off the brake. So just getting up to speed in automatic like normal. Giving it a little bit of gas. We get right up to speed, no issues. The suspension is really comfortable. I like how it's absorbing the bumps very nicely. I don't really feel any weird bumps or anything like that. The steering is also super light, especially at slow speeds. There's really nothing too crazy or aggressive when you're in just normal mode. The heads-up display is a nice touch. And the overall comfort, just getting myself squared away in the car, I like it a lot. There's a lot of movement within the seat. You can really adjust it to how you like it. I like how the bolsters, you can actually hug you a little bit tighter if you'd like. Steering wheel is tilting and telescoping, which is really nice. And then the overall interior just has a really good feel to it. So then a slower speed turn, just getting a taste. Light steering. And then we'll take a look at turning radius, just doing a quick turn in this parking lot. But yeah, everything is pretty normal, which I like. This can be a really good daily. We have a lot of storage in the back as well. So then, being this is a sports car, let's bump it into sport mode. The thing I like about sport mode, you can configure it. It comes up with a spot where you can customize everything, so damping, steering, engine, and transmission all can be configured. So there's basically a normal mode and then a sport mode to everything. I like how the gauges are a little bit more aggressive with some red. We have my gear in the center as well, and it's turned off the engine start-stop feature. So with that said, we'll do a little bit of an acceleration just to get a taste. Oh man, the turbo is so responsive, and this is all well under 5,000 RPM, nothing too crazy. Oh, there's some gurgles on the exhaust, so even going at 3,000 RPM in fourth gear. Wow, that is impressive. It actually pulls, like this car pulls. And then on top of that, the suspension is much stiffer. I can feel a lot of the bumps on the road now. The steering is much heavier too. That is a really nice touch. The downshifts are so quick. I love how this 8-speed automatic is super responsive. With a sports car, you gotta have a transmission that can match the power delivery and all the responsiveness that you're gonna get in a sports car. So I really like how, wow, that steering is heavy. So actually in a parking lot now, dang, you actually kind of have to muscle the wheel a little bit, which is awesome. I like how this car has totally changed into a different car by just pressing the sport mode button. But yeah, back to the transmission, it seems really quick and responsive. Wow. And I like how even the tack on the screen is lightning quick. There's no hesitation. Of course, it's all digital, but I like how they have programmed it at least to be super responsive, just like the engine is. And then as far as the brakes go, from a little bit higher speed, just hitting them a little bit, they definitely do their job. And one thing, the base model car, it does have smaller rear brakes, and from what I've heard as far as test driving on the track and stuff, they do fade just a little bit after a lot of aggressive driving. The premium and the launch editions have a little bit larger rear brakes and they don't fade. But we are back into just normal mode automatic. We're actually gonna put it into sport mode with automatic. Let's just see how aggressive it is. It already downshifted 3 times. We're in fourth gear, downshifted to 3. It's holding the revs for me at 3,000 as I hit the brakes. Did a nice rev mesh a second. So I like how if you are in automatic and sport mode, the car is ready to race. It knows what you're doing. It knows it's gonna hold revs higher, bring out the engine a little bit higher. So that is definitely really sweet. So then we're gonna configure it a little bit just to mess with it. So I will go into configure settings, and then damping, we're gonna go into comfort suspension just to have a nicer ride. Steering we'll keep into sport, engine and transmission we'll keep into sport. So now, and we'll keep into manual of course, because that is more fun. But I'm really liking what this car has to offer. The exhaust sounds so good. I definitely gotta put a GoPro on the back. Just to talk about driving it again, I really like how responsive it is. It feels like a car that you can daily drive to be a comfortable car. Like right now, the suspension is nice and comfortable, no big deal, but everything else is in the performance setting. So if I hit the gas a little bit, wow. So the transmission is super quick in this mode, and yet I still have a comfortable ride, so I really like the configurability. But then we'll put everything back in just a normal mode and talk a little bit more about what it's like driving the new Supra. Has Toyota done a good job? Honestly, I think they did. They did a really good job with it. It looks so good on the outside. I've said that a million times in the last video. And actually, the lane keeping just got me. That is really cool. And I think a lot of that is standard, actually. This has a ton of standard safety features, but it nudged the steering wheel as I went over the yellow line. So as far as safety features go for this car, you are getting a lot for your money. A ton of safety features are standard. And then, of course, this has the parking sensors, all that sort of stuff as well, the blind spot alert. But I like how Toyota did a good job adding a lot of these standard safety features that more modern cars are going to have. So they did a really good job not skimping in that regards at all. And then on top of that, just the driving of it, it's a really nice car to drive. Like, it genuinely is a nice car. Even taking a little tight turn through this tiny little road here, it's actually an easy car to navigate. It's much smaller in person than I was expecting. I was expecting it to be a little bit bigger, but I like the size. It's very compact. And just maneuvering it like a normal car, I like how it's just normal. And I know that may or may not sound good as Mike passes me in the 86. That thing looks really good. But oh my gosh, and it's really comfortable. Like, I like how the seats are. That's a big deal breaker for me if the seats aren't comfortable, but this thing is super comfortable. The visibility out is really good as well. You can see over your right and left shoulder with no issues. I think with the mirrors adjusted properly, I don't see any issues. And I like how big those rear fender arches look. It looks so cool in the mirror. This car has so much cool stuff to it. And the interior I like a lot. I did not like this car in pictures, in all honesty, for the interior. I thought it looked too plain, but seeing it in person, it fits together nicely and it feels like just something special. I really, really like it. Oh man. I like the Supra. Toyota did a great job, and the engine, the power plant, we're actually seeing dyno results of these cars pumping out like 370 at the wheels. So while Toyota says it's only like a 330 horsepower engine, it is really like a 400 horsepower engine based on dyno graphs. So this car has a lot to offer. I think they killed it. I think Toyota did a great job. I genuinely don't think I can find anything to pick apart or complain about. There is a lot of BMW in it, but in all honesty, when I sit in here, I don't feel like I'm in a BMW. I know the shifter, the infotainment is all the same, these climate buttons are the same, but even after all the reviews I've done with new BMWs, even the new Z4, I don't feel like I'm in the Z4. I feel like I'm in a Toyota. There's a Toyota badge in front of me, and the way it looks, the way it drives, I mean, I don't have any complaints. This is a pretty cool car. So then, to finish up the video, we will go back into sport mode because it's a sports car. What better way to drive than like that? But the power delivery, I really like. It is so responsive. Man. Downshifts are lightning quick. I think that, unfortunately, is going to wrap up the Supra. This definitely makes me want to buy one even more. I cannot wait for them to get more in stock. But once again, a huge thank you to Flo Toyota of Statesville for providing the Supra for today's video. Definitely check out the link to their website down in the description below. But that is about going to wrap up today's video. Give it a huge, huge, huge thumbs up. Be sure to smash that subscribe button. We'll see you guys in the next video.